Welcome, Formula One race fans, to Indianapolis. And you know, I never thought I'd say that. 2 World Championship leaders on the front row. There he is, Mika Häkkinen, 80 points. Alongside him, Michael Schumacher, 78 points. 73 laps, Michael Schumacher on the right, David Coulthard on the left. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, and the American Grand Prix is...
Coulthard jumped the start. Coulthard will get a jump start penalty for sure. He was rolling a long time before the lights, so he's in the lead at the moment, but I'm absolutely sure Coulthard jumped the start.
And look at Barrichello attacking Häkkinen, but it's Michael Schumacher. If Martin is right, effectively in the lead. David Coulthard in front at the present moment. Schumacher second, Häkkinen third, Barrichello in 4th position. Where he started, Jarno Trulli is still in 5th place. In 6th position, Jenson Button has held his place, but Jacques Villeneuve has come up ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, it looks to me, and the young Canadian who has won here at Indy is making a colossal fight of it as they come into Hulman Boulevard.
And Johnny Herbert on those slick tyres is last, absolutely plumb last, I believe now. So certainly those wets are doing the job in these early stages, but how long will they last?
Yeah, jump start under investigation. David Coulthard is being investigated by the stewards of the meeting. They will be looking at tapes of the start there to decide whether David has jumped it. If he has, as Martin said, of course, he's going to have a penalty. Coulthard on the left there, getting away early. Schumacher tucks in behind him. Mika Häkkinen remains second, and Rubens Barrichello 4th. But it may well be that Barrichello is effectively coming up to 3rd position. There we are. There is confirmation. It looks absolutely without doubt to me. And who is the fastest man on the track as the Jordan there comes out and takes Ralf Schumacher?
Frentzen passes Schumacher, that's for 8th place. Frentzen then whistling up the inside into turn 1. You're going to see a lot of that this afternoon. They're carrying a lot of wing, but they can follow through those last 2 fast corners and get a tremendous slipstream on their way down to turn 1.
And into the pits comes Jenson Button from... He started in 6th position. Now, is this a tyre change? Yes, indeed it is. And right behind him...
Yes, a puncture there, so that's Trulli in with a left rear puncture. We think he went off the road. Maybe he's decided to come in for slicks. Button did go off the road. Now, whether he's collected a lot of grass in the radiator ducting, I don't know. And whether they put slicks on, I'm sure we'll find out very shortly. Lacey in the pits. Now, he's always one of the first. Look, Schumacher getting very, very close to Coulthard. Lacey is often the first to be brave to come in for a set of slicks. He's the best on a damp track.
Go! Michael's going. Sorry, Martin, on you go.
No worries. Michael there having a look. He looked close enough, but I think the camera angle there was a bit deceiving us. But Michael clearly with the faster car underneath him, and Coulthard's job really, with his, I'm sure he knows he's going to get a stop go as well, is to keep Michael behind him as long as he can and give Häkkinen the chance to get in the hunt. So Coulthard's best thing he can do for the team now is let Häkkinen come into the hunt.
Yeah, this is lap 5, and when are the stewards going to say whatever they're going to say to Ron Dennis, boss of McLaren? David Coulthard watching his mirrors, putting himself in a position where he's going to make it very difficult for Michael Schumacher to get through, but Schumacher attacks. He's going to try and go around the outside at turn 1. He apparently doesn't know that David Coulthard is under investigation, and look at the way that the German is fighting, sawing left, sawing right, almost cutting the gearbox of David Coulthard's McLaren in half as they go into the right-hander at turn 4.
For sure, all 3 drivers at the front there will know of Coulthard's predicament. There is no, they have not declared. He did manage to stop the car completely, but he was rolling before the lights, so they'll take a view on that. They've got a graph that'll be printed up on a computer of exactly, and look, Häkkinen getting a run up the inside there of Schumacher.
I must say that David Coulthard is doing a masterly job, irrespective of what he thinks his future is going to be, because he's making it mighty difficult for Michael Schumacher. I do believe that if Schumacher could get past him, he could get away from him, but he can't get past him, and now he's got a big worry. He's got to A, try to get past Coulthard, B, stop Häkkinen from getting past him. You're looking at the first, second and third. There is 1.2 seconds, and the Ferrari pits are getting ready to bring somebody in. Is it Michael Schumacher? I guess it's more likely to be Schumacher than Barrichello, because Barrichello is all by himself, but it may well be the Brazilian.
Barrichello is in the pits. He's out of that picture. Look, he should be in the back of that shot we just saw. So Barrichello will be coming into the pit lane. And look at the toe that Michael Schumacher's got this side. Yeah. Coulthard goes to cover the line. Schumacher goes down the outside, and they just about touch. And once again, oh, they're so close.
Yes! Fantastic, and the crowd has gone berserk. They might well be Italians rather than Americans. They appreciated that. They love to see a fight, and my gosh, they got one. Now, I bet Coulthard will move over and let Häkkinen through. Yes, that's exactly what he's done. He's done his job as best he could, knowing that he's under investigation. He's held Schumacher up as long as he has, that could. The German has fought past him brilliantly. Häkkinen has taken over the attack now, and I'm expecting Coulthard, if the stewards say thumbs down, to be in shortly.
Coulthard making life as difficult as he could, and then played it fair. It would have been awful if Coulthard had a bumped Schumacher out of there. It would not be the correct thing to do. That's not the sort of thing David would do, but he sure is going to make it as hard as he can. And Schumacher putting an enormous amount of faith in David Coulthard there with his championship chances. Incredible. Look at this. Squeezes Coulthard across the curb. They must have touched. That was so close.
The conditions are getting right, and there's hot news from James Allen.
Mika Häkkinen is in the pits, as you can see, going to the slicks. All that excitement with the pass of Michael Schumacher. Rubens Barrichello put the slick tyres on when he made that stop. Now look at Jenson Button's times. He's 4 seconds alone faster in the first sector on the slick tyres. Michael Schumacher is going to have to make this switch very, very soon as well.
He did not go in the pits. I really think that could be a tactical error there. So Coulthard is in the pit lane for his stop and go. I'm amazed. Mind you, it's a 23.8 from Michael, so he's actually, maybe he's right. He's still faster than the other guys who have already moved on to slick tyres.
Yeah, 1:24 has been the critical time for changing tyres. 1 minute 24 seconds. Here is David Coulthard.
Michael going faster and faster each lap, despite the track drying out. There's Barrichello, he's down in 7th place, and still he's 4 seconds slower than Michael Schumacher. So Michael's really got it spotted. Wets are still the answer.
Yeah, but look at this battle. 6th is Villeneuve, 7th it was Barrichello, because Schumacher in the Williams BMW passes the Ferrari at turn 1 and sets about the BAR with its Honda engine in front of him.
That's a key move there for Ralf Schumacher, because he has already stopped for slicks. So Ralf Schumacher nicely making his way through on the dry tyres. Still, Häkkinen has not passed Mazzacani. Mazzacani's in 3rd place, and Mika Häkkinen, that's 2 consecutive laps. He's followed Mazzacani and can't seem to do anything about him. As Trulli goes straight on, it seemed as if the Jordan team brought out the wrong tyres, and he's out of the race anyway. But he sat there for ages and ages. Mika Häkkinen waving his arm. Maybe Mika doesn't realise, it's the first time ever he's racing that Minardi for position.
Yeah, it's the 7th retirement for Trulli this year, and Mazzacani is in 3rd place, he's in a podium position. He's not going to give up, he should do, of course. Now, where are the blue flags, and why doesn't he watch them?
No, there are no blue flags, Murray. He's in 3rd, he should not have a blue flag. As I said, Mazzacani's not used to having a McLaren behind him without seeing a sea of blue flags. He is racing for position. He is totally entitled to hold Häkkinen up as long as he can, as now Frentzen comes in from 2nd place for his slicks. Mazzacani was definitely on wets. I had a look in that last shot, and Häkkinen is now completing his 3rd lap behind the Minardi.
Mika Häkkinen is now officially in 3rd position. I'm waiting to see the shot. Where is Mazzacani? But Ralf Schumacher is the fastest of the lot. And there is Jenson Button. Look at his flat-spotted right front tyre. and he's out of the race.
Yeah, I think Jensen's locked up big time somewhere, been off the road by the looks of it.
There's the BAR of Jacques Villeneuve, followed by Barrichello, followed by Johnny Herbert. Over the line they go. Ralf Schumacher is up into third place in the Williams BMW. He is really flying. He's just done a 1:20.8.
Yes, that's 2.5 seconds.
Oh, look at Herbert.
Yeah, Johnny's now gone past Barrichello. Barrichello nowhere on this slippery track. Michael has to come into the pits now. He's now starting to lose 1 to 2 seconds, and we understand that the Ferrari is in the pit lane. Yes, he is now, James.
43-second lead over Häkkinen. He will rejoin in the lead. Amazingly, Martin, he's putting new tyres on the right-hand side of the car and old ones, used ones, on the left-hand side of the car. Watch how long the fuel nozzle is on for. That'll tell you how much fuel they're putting in at 12 litres per second. Quite a bit of fuel. So quite a bit of fuel for Michael, so that will push him quite deep, 7 seconds, push him quite deep into the race before he makes the major stop.
Johnny Herbert has now passed Villeneuve and homing in on Verstappen and De Nit. Johnny needing to impress the American racing scene. He wants to drive an IndyCar, and there goes Johnny past De Nit, and that is for 6th place. No, he doesn't quite make it stick, and don't turn in on his nose, Pedro, and Johnny lives for another day. But that's for 6th place they're squabbling. Johnny having a great race.
Yeah, the man from Romford. Johnny Herbert, who so badly smashed his feet in 1988 in that dreadful Formula 3000 race at Brands Hatch. He's never walked the same since, but he drives magnificently. And as you can see, he's attacking to get the Jaguar up into the points by getting past Pedro Diniz. But ahead of both of them is Jos Verstappen, and here is Herbert, ducking and diving behind the Sauber. Pedro Diniz very sensibly keeping to the and off goes. There, Johnny Herbert goes off.
No, Diniz
Sorry,
went off.
Diniz
Johnny
goes
went
off,
through.
yeah.
So
Diniz goes off. Barrichello's now attacking him.
Diniz comes back on in front of fellow countryman Rubens Barrichello, or Ruby as they call him over here on the American commentary. Sure, he'd be pleased with that one, but he certainly won't be pleased with this race. But Diniz locking the inside as he turned into turn 10 there and sailing straight onto the grass where there's even less grip. Johnny says thank you very much.
Now, we didn't see whether Barrichello got past him, but it means that Johnny Herbert is
now.
up.
There it is now. That's Barrichello getting a good slipstream off of Diniz, and he should have the line into the first corner. He goes back for a second helping of tow and catapults past Diniz. That was smart thinking there by Rubens. Pulled out of the slipstream, hit a brick wall of aerodynamic drag, ducked back in again and launched one up the inside. Nice move there, Rubens.
Off goes Mika Salo in the Sauber. He's had a very rotten time in practicing. He was 16th, he's out of the race.
Hey, look at this. Mika Häkkinen is already 1 and a bit, 1.2, 1.3 seconds up on Michael Schumacher this time around. Schumacher is not quick at this stage of the race. Häkkinen 7/10 up in the mid-sector of this lap, so the gap is going to be well under 5 seconds. The start-finish line is quite a long way down this straight. 16.6 for Michael, 15.7 for Häkkinen. The gap is down to 4.1 seconds. Häkkinen is sustaining this charge.
We're looking at Jos Verstappen in the orange arrows with Johnny Herbert in 6th place right behind him. They're coming up to a slower car. I think it's Fisichella in the Benetton, and it may well be that if Verstappen gets his timing wrong to get past the Benetton, Johnny Herbert will see his opportunity to move up from one. Oh, and there is Mika Häkkinen with his car on fire. Yes, he's going to have to come in, no doubt about that. Oh, this is tragic luck for the McLaren team and Mika Häkkinen. And if Michael Schumacher can stay out there, it is going to put him in a commanding lead for the World Championship. Oh, Mika Häkkinen crawls in. Schumacher pulling away, of course, all the time. Ralf Schumacher goes up into 2nd place as I talk to you, and as Mika Häkkinen comes in undoubtedly on lap 27 to retire from the USA Grand Prix. And that is only his 3rd retirement of the year. Michael Schumacher wins this race, he will get 10 World Championship points, which would put him 8 points ahead of Mika Häkkinen with 2 races to go. Japan in 2 weeks, Malaysia in 4 weeks. The German is certainly looking good, but we're on lap 28. It's a 73 lap race. Anything could happen.
Where's Herbert gone? Herbert has fallen down to 13th. He's in the pits as we talk. That's obviously for his first scheduled stop of the afternoon, and a major drama there. They're changing the front wing. So are they, and it doesn't look damaged in any way. That's going to cost Johnny 20-30 seconds. There goes his World Championship points almost certainly. What a shame. I don't know what was the problem with it.
Jacques Villeneuve is in 4th place in the BAR, lapping faster than Frentzen.
Look at this time, Coulthard ever closer. Now this must surely be his chance. If he can't do it on this, I wonder how David's ever going to find enough straight line speed. There's just no way through there. Coulthard really now struggling behind that car. We've got some strange lap times going on there. Fastest 2 men on the track last time around, Villeneuve and Barry. Look, and Coulthard makes it through. De La Rosa running wide in 3, Coulthard squeezing through, and that was a key one for David because that Arrows is so fast in a straight line.
Is Coulthard having a go at Pedro Diniz at the end of the straight? Pedro Diniz shuts the door in his face, which he's perfectly entitled to do at that juncture of the course, and off goes Ralf Schumacher momentarily, 17 points behind the leader in 2nd place.
Yes, 17 seconds behind the leader, and I don't think it would have cost Ralf too much there. I think he just scampered down the grass between 9 and 10. Here we're going to see it. He locks up the inside front, as you can see. I think he then had to do that short straight, just spinning his wheels down the grass as Michael Schumacher sets a new lap record of 1:15.229.
David Coulthard again, attack. This could be his opportunity into the bank, turn 13, right up behind Pedro Diniz's Sauber. He can pull through and get past now. Pedro de la Rosa sees his opportunity. Pedro Diniz shuts the door, having a go.
Now David's gone up the inside. He had to have a second go at the slipstream again, and as long as he doesn't outbrake himself, he has a clear run. Good manoeuvring there for David. He's just got the McLaren just is not fast enough in a straight line, but he's using the others. Isn't it great to see them really being able to follow each other so closely at 200 miles an hour? There must have been, what, a half a metre between them, less than that. And Coulthard having to go for a second helping of tow to get track position. Nicely done. That releases him now towards Barrichello in 5th place. Ralf should be fueling, quite a long fuel stop I'd imagine, should be fueling him now right to the end of the race as he comes in from 2nd place.
Frentzen in the yellow Jordan, Villeneuve in the white BAR, Barrichello 4th in the Ferrari, and spin, and it's Jacques Villeneuve lost his position to Rubens Barrichello. Masterly avoidance by Rubens Barrichello of Villeneuve spinning BAR. Masterly recovery by Villeneuve.
Yes, Villeneuve hooked the grass on the inside as he was getting on the throttle pedals. So nearly, look, the rear wheels so nearly touched.
And Barrichello is getting into a very strong position to get past the Jordan.
And there's a slow car on the start-finish line. Over to the right-hand side, De La Rosa is out of the race on the right. I don't think it'll be a problem. There's that car now. This looks like a video game, doesn't it? Absolutely amazing. And that is a difficult car to move out of the way. A very difficult car to clear off the line.
If the Jordan mechanics can make an absolutely superlative stop and the Ferrari mechanics cannot for Barrichello, it's likely that they'll both do well. It could change the positions as Mazzacani comes in, and Villeneuve is right up with Barrichello, who is now in 2nd place.
James, what can you tell us?
Fantastic bluff there by the Ferrari team. They came out, made Jordan react, and they just, as soon as Rubens went straight on, they just came back in again, casual as you like. Meanwhile, the Jordan team have obviously made their stop. Rubens can go a couple of laps longer, put the hammer down, and maybe he'll pass him out on the track anyway. Guys, it's absolutely hilarious the way they pulled this bluff on Jordan. What's Barrichello, how's he gained? Well, 6 seconds he's made over Frentzen in the last 2 laps alone. He should comfortably rejoin in 2nd place. Brilliant pit work, great tactics by the Ferrari team.
Yes, I'm looking down towards turn 13. There is no sign yet of Heinz-Harald Frentzen as Rubens Barrichello goes up to what there is. Now, I'm always very cautious about Jordans and Minardis. They're both painted yellow, but whichever it is, Rubens Barrichello has joined ahead, and it was a Minardi followed by a Jordan.
After running as high as second, Ralf Schumacher retires with a leak in the Williams pneumatic system.
This is the battle, and what a battle for third position.
Here's another opportunity. They do not lift the throttle for over 22 seconds, and he's just sitting there. You just never seem to have enough horsepower, however much you've got. And this time Jacques has got a nice toe, and I'm sure Jacques can be the last of the late breakers if he needs to be, but there's not a lot between the Mugen Honda and the Honda, is there? And he takes a dive up the inside, yes, and he's going to go wide. That's the problem. He's going to have to take to the grass. There is an escape road there where it cost him a lot of time, and that really, now we'll see how fast Jacques is, see if he can close that gap straight back up again. But the only thing he could do was a big stab up the inside.
Well, he tried, and he was right to try. He's tried before this season and taken somebody off. Here's a replay. Coming up to turn 1, they're doing about 210 miles an hour as they close. Villeneuve goes through, runs wide onto the grass, loses traction, does well to keep the car pointing straight and not go up the escape road. And of course now Frentzen has massively increased the gap between himself and the BAR, which is back on the track.
That's the engine seizing up there, and Alesi trying to clear the track, trying not to leave oil on the racing line, the pro that he is, but I think the engine seizes basically and puts him off the road.
And now we're on lap 69. And off goes Michael Schumacher.
What on earth is he doing? That's amazing. Michael half asleep. He's got plenty of lead left to get away with that, but Michael obviously just falling asleep a little bit with his cruise and off onto the grass. Absolutely amazing. He had a 26-second lead last time around. That's cost him 4 or 5. Turns into the hairpin look, goes on the grass on the way in, and that's exactly the part that caught out Jacques Villeneuve earlier on. Just dips the right-hand wheel on the grass at the same time as applying the throttle.
Each lap 2.6 miles long, so he's got less than 5 miles now as I talk to you. And how Villeneuve is trying. He's throwing caution to the winds. He's going to get right up behind Heinz-Harald Frentzen and then pressure the German right to the last knockings, and he's still on it. Look at him.
Yeah, a bit leery there from Jacques, but it worked out quite well. He managed just to get the nose into the corner somehow as they now head into turn 8. A little short squirt into 9, and this is where Jacques is very fast, even though he spun there earlier on. Or I should say more, Frentzen seems slow through there, and Jacques has got a great chance of getting in the slipstream as Michael Schumacher commences his final tour, Murray.
Michael Schumacher can coast home now. This is going to be his 7th win of the year to put him back into the lead of the Drivers' World Championship, and in so doing to take Ferrari there as well in the Constructors' Championship. Yes, victory for Schumacher. Now, the gap between himself and Rubens Barrichello, his teammate, had closed to under 13 seconds on the previous lap. There's Barrichello crossing the line to make it 16 points for Ferrari. First, Ferrari second. Now, who's going to be third?
Frentzen's over the line. No, yes, Frentzen has already gone over the line, look. He took the 3rd place from Villeneuve, and they ended up just 17 seconds behind Michael Schumacher in the end. Well, if it doesn't work here, it won't work anywhere for Formula 1 in America, but I think everybody involved in Formula 1 will go home from here quite satisfied. Good show, good circuit, and very good support we had over here. Michael Schumacher turned it on. What a shame Häkkinen went out of the race. That was shaping up to be a great scrap between two titans of the current Formula 1 scene.
Okay, lads, let's waste a bit more champagne. I hope everybody, you have enjoyed it as much as we have.
You looked to run pretty much a perfect race, apart from about 5 laps from the end where you had a spin. Had you gone to sleep?
Yeah, it looked like. Honestly, I mean, I wasn't concentrated anymore because I was just cruising. I mean, I had so big gap that the team asked me all the time to go slower and slower, and I did, and I just caught a bit of grass, which was a bit damp still, and it spun me around. And these things do happen if you not concentrate properly. Yeah. And afterwards, Ross mentioned to me I should keep my concentration. I said, "Don't worry, I'm awake now." So.